Hello and welcome to Nintendo Pals, your weekly dive into all things Nintendo and friendship. Tonight, we're talking news, games we're playing, rumors, and more. Micah, what do you say? Are you ready to jump on in to the episode?
Yep.
Fellow Nintendo Pals, my name is Andros. I'm one of the hosts of the Nintendo Pals podcast. And I am joined, as I am always joined, by my co-host, Micah. And Micah, as usual, I gotta ask, how the heck are you? That's good to hear. You're also a little quiet, but you'll need to talk loud.
I've been hearing that a lot recently, actually.
You just need to be louder. That's what I'm saying here. But you know who is just the right volume? It's our pal. It's Seth, aka $2 Hero, aka All N, aka the coolest guy on the internet. Welcome, Seth.
Oh wow, thank you very much. I don't know about all that, but I'm coming to you with hopefully appropriate volume tonight. And yeah, happy to be here, guys. Good to be hanging out with y'all. Good to see y'all.
It's good to have you back. You know, it's been a long time since we had guests on the show, mostly due to the technical back end stuff, which is all me. So it's all my all my shenanigans not working properly. Now it works, kind of. So we may have some bugs, may have some glitches here. For those watching the video version of the podcast, the scene changing is me manually this time around. But I have it close to setting up to be good to go with doing that all automatically. But yeah, we got all sorts of cool wide shot multi-cameras. And this is becoming a professional show.
Wow,
eventually, someday this will be a professional show. Maybe.
That's intense.
Very, very.
So much production.
Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. But Seth, I got to ask you, how the heck are you? How's life been for you? I know I talked to you pre-show, so. But
crazy, But
how are things in the world of Seth the Nintendo Man?
Seth the Nintendo Man. Seth the Nintendo Man's doing all right. Busy as always, doing like a million things all the time. But yeah, pretty good. It's been a good couple months. I'm excited that the new year is kind of kicked off. I love the new year. I love starting a new year. I love the fresh slate. I love I love kicking things off fresh. And so here we are, a few weeks into the new year, and so far so good. We'll see.
Yeah, I got like stuff in my beard. I've been growing a beard.
Me too.
I've been growing a beard.
I see that.
You get to I too.
Yeah, you got a little.
So my goal here is to eventually become Seth, because
nice.
That's the path to success, as I've seen.
Not that I don't believe in you, but that's not going to happen. The beard. Not necessarily the success, but the beard.
Yeah,
it's coming in.
He has quite a head start. And do you trim your beard, Seth, or have you just let it go?
I trim it every, like 4 or 5 months or something like that. I'll because it just like the hair on your head, you got to treat it like the hair on your head. There'll be dead ends, and stuff like that. And, so every I'd say 2 or 3 times a year, I'll give the hair and the beard a little trim, but nothing crazy. I'm not taking off any real length.
Yeah,
Maybe,
that's what. So it's getting longer still.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like right now it comes down to like, I don't know how well this is coming in on the camera. It's down to like right here, right now. So yeah.
Yeah, he's got. It's impressive. Have you ever braided it? That's a question.
Yeah.
You could go full
Yeah,
Viking.
I could. Yeah, my wife likes to do that sometimes. Like she likes to just get, pieces of it and put braids in it and whatnot. I don't think I could do that. I get really fidgety. I'd be playing with it, if I did that. So I don't know that I have the attention span for that, but yeah.
Nice. Well, this is a lot of beard talk here, and I don't want to make Micah feel left out.
I mean,
with his shaggy
wait,
beard.
what are you talking about? I got it there.
We always refer to Micah as Shaggy from Scooby-Doo because he just grows like the patch.
Yeah, I can see that.
Now I'm just like a villain. I just grow the goatee.
Man, I am honestly so jealous. If I could choose to not grow any facial hair, I would take that choice because I hate shaving. I mean, that's why I've like kind of.
I hate shaving too.
Is terrible.
Yeah, shaving is the worst. But yes, we're here. We're with Seth. We'll give you a chance to plug the stuff. I kind of already plugged you a little bit at the beginning for all the shows and things that Seth does. I mean, he's a very busy guy. Yeah, you do quite a bit. But appreciate you coming on tonight. What do you say we jump into the first segment of our show and let's talk about some games with What You Playing? Seth, you're our guest, so we'd love to hear from you first. What have you been playing lately?
Oh man, a lot. I'll highlight a couple of things. So, the big one that has consumed my life really over the past few weeks is Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. I got that game. I reviewed it for Carpool Gaming, and I got it early. I got it about a week before it came out, and I have put a lot of time into it. I've basically 100%ed that game. I unfortunately have got a treasure in the game that is bugged. So until they release a patch, I cannot. Yeah. So that kind of, it's funny because in my review, I have a moment where I'm like, I don't know how to solve this puzzle. And then a friend of mine played the demo and he's like, I don't know what the problem is. You just shoot an arrow right up here. And I'm like, no, I'm telling you, I've done that. And I went back into the area and tried it. It's bugged. And I tried it on a new save file and it worked. So just that one specific thing on that one specific save file is bugged, unfortunately. But otherwise, I have 100% of that game. It's so good. I specifically wanted to bring it up because I don't know. Have you played the demo for this, Micah, at least?
I did. I actually played it earlier today.
We were just talking about it before you jumped into the call. Yeah.
Because this is like Metroid Dread, like all over it, and I was thinking about you, like when I was playing it, I was like, Micah would love this.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the demo. I just wish it had gone like 5 minutes longer so I could actually fight a boss.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big part, which I've heard good things about it.
They're great. The bosses are really good. I would say, like, because there's a lot made about Metroid Dread's difficulty. I don't think the game is that difficult personally. But Prince of Persia has got some bosses. Like, I think that there are at least 2 bosses that I can think of for sure that I think are more difficult than anything in Metroid Dread. And the platforming in Prince of Persia is also very challenging because Metroid Dread is not really about like challenging platforming, I wouldn't say.
They kind of have a couple puzzles that like touch on it, but I wish they had done more with that because a lot of those. Yeah,
I do too. Yeah, and like the combat in Prince of Persia is very deep. The coolest thing about it too is like it has so many accessibility options. Like that's another, people get intimidated, I feel like, by Metroidvanias, and so with Prince of Persia, you can go in there and you can adjust anything. Like you can like enemy damage, enemy health, like you could even put it, if you find the platforming challenging, you can go in there and just, it'll create a portal and you can just skip the hard platforming sections if you want. Like, it's pretty cool. So anybody could play it. It also added this new thing called memory shards, which I'm like, I never want to play another Metroidvania that doesn't have this. It's
take the picture.
Yeah, you take the picture. If you see something on the map that that you can come back to later and get, like you play a Metroidvania, you're like, I'm gonna forget this in 30 minutes. So you take a picture, just takes a screenshot, and it just puts it on your map, and now it's always there, and you know where to come back to. You know exactly where it is. It's brilliant. Every Metroidvania needs that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
so
I saw
good.
that and thought that was really cool because a lot of them will let you put like markers down, but then I always forget what that marker really meant. But then you like see the picture and you can see exactly what sort of ability or thing you need.
It's literally a screenshot. Like it's literally just a screenshot.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I
thought you were going to say that it lets you like teleport back to that, and I was like, oh,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, like it just
that'd be nice.
You put like a warp save to come back to.
That'd be pretty neat. There's a lot of fast travel stations though. Like it's never too the world navigation's not too cumbersome or anything like that. And the movement's like so good. I was just really impressed by it. Like I'm a big Prince of Persia fan, but I didn't think like I thought I would like it. Like I thought it would be like a good, but I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. Like it's excellent. I think it's every bit as good as Metroid Dread to me. You know, like I think it is really, really good. And in some ways I think it's better, you know? So yeah, it's good stuff. I hope you play it, Mike. I think you would like it.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe at some point in the relatively near future it'll go on sale.
It'll go on sale, right? That's the big thing. That's the thing with Ubisoft games, right? They've kind of pigeonholed themselves because like everybody's like, well, even though I know it's good, like it'll be on sale in a few. I can't blame anybody for waiting on it, right? So
we're going to talk about that later in the news because because Mario and Rabbids, we'll talk about it. Yeah got it. Well, so there's that, but I will say, you guys, I'll highlight another game that I've been obsessed with since late last year, that I was like itching to get back to after finishing Prince of Persia and having the review done and everything. The whole time I was thinking about Cobalt Core. I'm addicted to Cobalt Core. I love this game. Cobalt Core is a deck building roguelike. So think about like Slay the Spire. Oh no. Seth,
is a big thing.
Micah and I are both roguelike deck builder. That's like it's like our game.
Yeah.
If you like Slay the Spire, you would love it.
Him to play it, and then he's like, "This is the greatest game I've ever played." Essentially,
you guys would both love Cobalt Core, 1000%. Like it taps into the same like pleasure centers of your brain that Slay the Spire does, like getting the perfect setup and building the perfect deck, and it is like I compare it to like Slay the Spire and like Into the Breach are the two games that I kind of compare it the most to. But it also has like, it's really hard for a roguelike to tell a good story because it's all randomly generated. I think Hades is really the only one that I can think of that really did it. And now this, like Cobalt Core has got a great story because the setup is you're these characters who are stuck in a time loop in space. You don't know why, but you keep doing the same time loop and like dying over and over like hundreds of times. And you're trying to figure out like what happened, why you're in this time loop, like picking up your memories because everybody's lost their memories. And so every time you complete a run, you can unlock one of 3 memories for each of the characters, and you can unlock different characters that each have different abilities and different card sets. It is like really good. And I have been obsessed with it. I discovered it like 3 days away from the end of the year, like in the final few days of 2023, and it threw my I had my top 10 of 2023 like locked. I was like, this is it. And then I got addicted to Cobalt Core, and it immediately made it into my top 5. It was like my number 5 of the whole year. And it threw my whole list into flux. Like the way I looked at 2023, I'm like, this game is so good. It's got an incredible soundtrack. The guy who does the soundtrack is one of the composers of Minecraft. And like, it's excellent. It is just everything about that game is excellent. I've been evangelizing that game as much as I can because it's one of those like hidden gems that I feel like a certain group of people, Slay the Spire fans, Into the Breach fans, like you would become obsessed with this game if you played it. It's so good.
Well, time to go pick it up.
It's excellent.
Yeah. I will always take a Seth recommendation, and this sounds like my kind of game.
Dude, it's so I've been hooked on it. I'm to the point where I only have 2 more memories to unlock, and I can see the end, in sight, and I'm a little sad about it. But those are the 2 big ones. I'm playing a lot of like little stuff here and there, and like stuff for like content on the All In channel and stuff like that, and but those are the 2 ones that have like really kind of commanded my mind share over the past few weeks. So
Well, nice. Yeah, sounds like a lot of fun.
Good stuff.
Micah, let's rock paper scissors to see who goes next. Okay. Since we have video working here, on shoot, rock, paper.
You can't say on shoot and then immediately start going.
Okay, ready? Okay, yeah. Ready.
Changes my whole strategy.
If I win, I go. If you win, you go.
Sure.
Okay, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Rock.
Oh, I guess you're going. I threw scissors.
He wins.
All right, Mike. I
goes you games. So
it
telling
really
you
did.
What I was gonna throw. Okay, well, most of what I've been playing, actually, at least in the last like 2 days, has been Golden Sun.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's like I think it's like my 4th time playing through, but it's still real good.
Love that game.
We gotta show it as much.
Fans.
Yeah, we gotta show it as much love as possible so that they know that people like it and want more.
Exactly. I even got curious and I looked up some like reviews because there'll be like more reviews coming out now. And
right.
In one of the reviews, one of their cons was the soundtrack and how it wasn't memorable. And yeah, it blew my mind. I mean, what an absolutely unhinged thing for someone to say.
Yeah, that's a wild thing to say.
I was like, obviously, the review means literally nothing to me now.
You can't take that person's opinion seriously.
Exactly. They seemed to be making pretty good points because they were talking it up a lot, and then they got to this, and they're like, the music's not very good. Like,
the composer of Golden, that's Sakuraba, isn't it? Let me confirm. I think it's Motoi Sakuraba, who is one of the great composers of all time. Like he's like the Dark Souls. Yeah, it is. It's Sakuraba.
Yeah, the music is so good.
It's excellent.
Yeah, it is. I haven't played the games, and I know that the soundtrack is phenomenal. It's so weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so if you see their review, don't listen to them. The music's really good. PSA there. Besides that, I actually haven't played too much. I mean, I got my classic. I always play Splatoon at least once a week, Rocket League at least once a week, and then
Did you do the last Splatfest? Did you do the Splatfest? Who'd you go with?
I went with family, of course.
Okay. Yeah.
And solo won everything in that Splatfest, which is honestly a little depressing.
A little sad, right?
I was
each
their own, I guess, but it's like, wow, that's a.
But did I see somewhere that Monkey Thunder posted that the phrasing was like different?
Worded slightly different.
It was like translated weird.
It's like
so the phrasing
who
was
you hang out with on your days off or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird. Well, I mean, yeah, in that case, it's like.
And so it was like
most of the time I just chill.
All the Japan votes were like, yeah, we're spending the day by myself.
That makes sense.
Which is still a little sad, but like also makes a lot more sense than like Christmas and the holidays, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, and it also had the best art because it had like the little like hot cocoa drinking. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, how many times is it just based off of like the color of the ink that people vote?
That's
right?
true. or the deep cut person. Yeah.
Let's face it, nobody likes Fry.
Poor Fry. Everybody's always going with Shiver, man. Like Shiver's won like the Cheesy does like a rolling poll of like the winners. Like he's calculated, like he has like the list of all the winners every Splatfest, and Shiver has won like 80% of them.
Yeah.
Like
I think Fry's won a single time.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Big Man like 3 or something maybe.
Yeah, and the rest is just all Shiver. Shiver's won like 19 of them or something.
Big Man's on a streak though. I mean, he's been.
Oh, let's go.
I think he's on like his 3rd win in a row potentially.
About time.
Oh, is he? Yeah.
Yeah, deserved.
Too good.
Deserved. Well, anything else you want to highlight? You've been playing?
Besides that, I just played just a little bit of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Oh yes, I guess that's a good segue into what I've been playing because
I saw you playing it.
Yeah, this week for stream, I played a couple games. Well, I was saving one of these games for stream specifically, and that's Mom Hid My Game 2.
Nice,
a little hidden gem on the Nintendo eShop. Mom Hid My Game was given out for free to Amazon Prime members back in December of not this last year, but the year prior, right, Micah? It was a year ago when we were hanging out.
Yeah. So.
And it's a really fun little puzzle game. It's one you can beat in like a couple hours tops.
Yeah. If that, yeah.
But it's kind of like an extended WarioWare mini game is what it feels like. And I really like it. I think it was a lot of fun, and I mean, it was free. So when I saw Mom Hid My Game 2, I was like, oh, hot dog. Yeah. And I, no questions asked, purchased it. And I have since learned that there's 4 games in the Mom Hid My Game universe. There's like Dance and Hide, or Hide and Dance.
Something. And then like the other ones, I think My Brother Ate My Pudding.
My Brother Ate My Pudding. Yeah. So I'm going to pick those up at some point as well, because I just like
They're
everything.
all good.
I like everything that these have put out. Have you played all of these then, Steph?
Yeah, I've played the whole series. They're all good. The dance one's just kind of like a really like rudimentary just rhythm game, but it has that same like sense of humor, you know. They're all good. They're like cheap too, you know. So
yeah, it was like
worth playing.
On sale, it was like $2 for Mom Hid My Game 2, and I think it was worthwhile. The ending always gets me of these games like that one. I did tear up a little bit at the end of Mom Hid My Game 2, which is very silly, but it's because I'm a dad and I hide my kids' games, you know, like parents do. I'm just kidding. But that was a lot of fun. And then after that, as Micah alluded to, I played some Smash Bros. I was trying to see how many level 9 computers I could beat at once, and the answer is 1 so far. Because I was not able to do any greater numbers, and at the end, I got pretty close on a couple rounds to doing, like, what I ended up doing was me versus 7 ice climbers. So 14 level 9 computers.
Which actually slows the game down a little bit.
I bet.
Yeah, it chugs. But it was fun, and I want to go back to doing that challenge and complete it. But I had to stop because
you're a quitter.
Because it was so late at night, or early in the morning, as some might say. I was like, I gotta quit. I gotta stop. But it was a lot of fun. Smash Bros. Ultimate, great game. Still a great game. Besides that, I played a little bit of Fortnite, specifically the festival mode. I just have gone on every once in a while to see if there's some like new songs to play, because I actually really enjoy festival mode, and
I gotta try it.
I just want like a Guitar Hero-esque, Rock Band-esque game, you know, and that kind of scratches the itch enough. There's not a lot of songs, and it doesn't seem like they've updated it too much. I think there's like 1 or 2 new ones every time I log in, which is every couple weeks, and I'm like, yeah, that's a little lame. I feel like this whole new chapter of Fortnite, they launched with like a 4-prong, like we have Fortnite's now 4 games.
Right.
We've got Battle Royale, Festival, Rocket Racer,
Lego.
And Lego. Yeah. And I feel like everything kind of suffers a little bit from this dilution of resources. Whereas like like Festival and Rocket Racing don't feel like they've gotten any changes since they first launched, which is fine. But I feel like they're going to die off. Battle Royale, I don't know how much has gone on and changed in that. And then Lego Fortnite. I mean, you can look at it. When you log in, it will show you how many players are on each of the game modes. And I think this whole thing is to try and push more of the creative side, right? And say, like, these are the things you can do in Fortnite. Because there's so many. It's essentially become Roblox. You guys are familiar with the Roblox ecosystem of just, like, creators make games for people to play on there, and there's just a flood of spammy games. They're like, some are like very creative and cool, but it's just a lot of garbage to sift through. And I feel like Fortnite themselves, with their 4-pronged approach, is like diluting too much. But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I do like that I can play a Rock Band-esque game with people online. That's cool.
That is cool. Yeah. More rhythm games.
Yep.
I'd like more rhythm games.
Yep. And besides that, I don't think I really hit on too much else. I've got my regulars, and that is Pokemon Go. That's my regular. I have been playing a lot of Pokemon Go and been having a blast playing that. I really, really like my Pokeball Plus for...
That's got like a little
case too.
Yeah, a little case. Yeah.
That's
sick.
I really like this because I can just have it in my pocket and it will catch things and do things. Because for me, I would go out to places where there'd be like a good Pokemon area, but I'm like, I want to be present. I want to be there with my family and also like be looking at whatever we're doing there. So this is a nice way that I can kind of play a little bit more casually. You don't have to have the phone out all the time. And I thought prior to having this that was a dumb premise and concept. Like, it's just playing the game for you. But I have since gone like, I like it because it gives me the opportunity to spin stops and do things when I also want to be there and be present. So, yeah.
That's awesome. I kind of miss Pokemon Go. There's a, like, it's never going to be like how it was when it first came out, for me, but yeah, I kind of miss it.
When we'd almost achieved world peace.
Yeah, we got close. We got pretty close.
That 1 week where everyone was on the same page. The thing is, it's like so much more in it now than there was then as well. And it's a game that I have an interesting like opinion on. I enjoy it. I think it's very fun. But I'm like, it could be so much cooler too. Like they could make this more, but does it need to be because of what it is? I don't know. So I have mixed opinions on it. I still am not a fan. I still am not a fan of the battle system of just like tapping for battling.
Right.
I kind of wish it was just a turn-based RPG style. Even if it was
like, I don't really understand why it's not. Just for casual, I guess. Like mobile gamers can't they think that they can't understand Pokemon?
They're like, oh yeah, mobile gamers don't want to do strategy. They just want to tap on the screen and pretty lights show up.
Weird.
Like that's what mobile
maybe
is.
They just don't want to make it too similar to their mainline games.
Because then no one would buy those, right?
No. Plus also, I mean, there's still some strategy. More than you would think.
Yeah, sometimes you have to swipe to dodge.
There's a little strategy.
Great battles. When you're actually battling other people, though, you got to know when to use your shields.
Yeah.
And when to let the hit you, which means you got to sometimes fake people out a little bit and let your special attack build up more than necessary before you use it, so they think you're using an extra strong attack.
Mind games.
When you're not. Yeah, you got to play. It's like chess. Well, you apparently have been playing checkers over there.
Yeah, I haven't really done too much with the PvP.
Also, I don't really like the PvP that much.
Yeah, yeah. It was like it's just like not that enjoyable.
It's a lot of it's based on the first 2 Pokemon that go out. If you have a type disadvantage, I mean, you gotta swap, but then odds are they're gonna swap to another type advantage for them.
Yeah.
So.
Can I have a rant here? Not specific to Pokemon Go, but can we outlaw bad shinies? You know what I'm talking about. The ones that where it comes up, and if it didn't have the little effect, you wouldn't know.
Like barely different.
And you're like, those suck. Those are so dumb. It's like, man, come on, a little bit of effort. You could have even done something like just like a palette swap, oh, it's now all one this random other color. But when they make it just so similar, it's so bad. It's so bad. Yeah. I want all shinies to be cool. They should go back and redo some that they have just forsaken.
Meowth. I feel like Meowth is like the worst.
Yeah. I learned this week because I was ranting about this at the office. So I was like, "How about this one?" And they showed me Goldango.
That just looks like a normal Pidgey.
It is a normal Pidgey. I'm convinced the game is bugged and it thought it was shiny, but it's not.
It's just a normal Pidgey.
Goldango is one that's like the string cheese metal man, right? And
right.
He's made of gold, and what an opportunity!
Like already a shiny form.
What an opportunity to make a cool shiny, though. Like they could have made him silver or bronze or some like weird color. No, he's the same color. The lines connecting his like body parts are green instead of red. But if you don't,
that sounds cool.
If you don't know, you don't see it. Like in game, you can't see it. But in its like 2D sprite art, you're like, oh, I see it. And that's bad. Made him, like... That's bad. When you can't like go, oh, that's a shiny version of this.
Right.
If it can't pass that like glance test, then it's a bad shiny, my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with you. My favorite shiny is Politoed, because Politoed goes from like this, kind of great. I love Politoed anyway. I think it's a great design, but then it becomes this like blue and pink like Go-Gurt looking. It looks like a cotton candy yogurt. Politoed. It's very good.
Yeah, I like Politoads. It's
good. A lot of flame Pokemon have really cool shinies because a lot of them kind of just swap out.
You just do it to a blue flame. Yeah,
but it looks good.
Works.
At least for a lot of them.
Yeah, it's something. Makes it different.
We have this one.
I'm a big fan of just the hot pink.
This one, from Painfully Thickums in chat says, Lycanroc Midnight Form Shiny.
Oh.
I am looking that up on the
Google
site
this.
Now. Yeah. But I imagine that would be cool.
Shiny.
Oh, that is a cool one. Yeah, it's got that kind of like dark blue look to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, that's like that's a good one. I with the Pokeball Plus this not last week but the week prior, I got a shiny Eevee. And I was like,
oh, cool.
Oh, hot dog, what shiny evolution should I do? And I boiled it down to either Espeon or Umbreon. And I went with Espeon. Just like this alien green color. And so many of my coworkers were like, that is hideous. It's horrible. Horrible
I like
shiny.
it.
I dig it. I like it.
The point of a shiny isn't necessarily to look good. It's to stand out.
Yeah. I like
Even
it.
if a shiny looks ugly, it can still be a good shiny.
Because
Umbreon's kind of cool too, but I like the Espeon.
Yeah, Umbreon is a Umbreon is one that I think they both Espeon and Umbreon highlight two types of shinies that I really like. Umbreon changes the highlight color,
right,
so that the base is basically the same, and really they change that, and then
kind of
Espeon.
Like
yeah, except he doesn't have highlights.
It's more noticeable though, because like Umbreon's design is so simple that like the lines in the so they really stands out. Yeah.
And then Espeon is a just completely wild color swap of like the entire Pokemon, and I like those too. Like like the red Gyarados or the Charizard, where it's like
when they just jump across the color wheel.
Yeah,
I feel like
Leafeon, man. Leafeon and Glaceon are like what we were talking about, where they're just like a little
those
darker.
Are so bad.
It's like a shade darker, basically.
Yeah, that's my rant on shiny Pokemon. I just wanted to get that off my chest. Need to rant about that in a public space. So thankfully, Thick also asked, do you guys think that there will be any more EV evolutions in the future?
There needs to be. Where's my dragon evolution?
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, how many types have they covered so far? I mean, it's been a lot of them, but
we don't have.
We're missing what? Dragon, steel. We're missing steel, right?
Flying, ground, rock. Do they have like any of like? Oh, they have grass, I guess. Which is
we don't have ghost either.
No ghost, no rock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Do them all.
Yeah, I think they should do every type, right? Like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they've already come this far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's supposed to be, it's supposed to evolve into all these different forms. Yeah, it's a little weird because the latest one we've had is what, Sylveon?
I think so.
Which was like X and Y, I think it was introduced. So it's been a minute.
Yeah, it has. It has. And Eevee's so popular as well,
Mm-hmm.
It's like any way that they can... what the Pokemon Company has with Eevee is like the dream scenario where it's one where lore-wise they can go, new evolutions because of XYZ or whatever. Whereas other Pokemon that they want to give a new evolution to, they may have to completely change lore. Like, oh, they're Alolan forms. That's how we got a new one.
Right.
Or Mega. So I think Eevee's a great design in that regard.
Yeah, no kidding. I'd love to see that.
I want
my Dragon Eevee.
Yeah. I want Dragon
That's
Eevee.
The big one I want.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, that's all I've been playing, and I think that'll about cover it for what you're playing. So why don't we jump out of what you're playing, and let's jump on over and talk some Nintendo news. Alrighty, and in the Nintendo news, we have a lot to cover because we didn't record an episode last week due to some scheduling conflicts for me, but let's dive on in. First off, we have gotten some more footage of Mario vs. Donkey Kong through a brand new trailer. And I'm curious to hear, Seth, your thoughts on the Mario vs. Donkey Kong series. Did you play these games originally? I have not tried this series, so I don't have a huge desire to pick this one up. But
sure. Are you a DK94 guy?
I didn't have DK94.
Didn't play it?
No.
Yeah,
but I've heard it's very similar, right? It's
totally.
Like
that first Mario versus DK game is basically DK94 too. Like it is very, very similar. So if anybody listening is a fan of DK94 on Game Boy, and you should be, it's wonderful. It's an excellent game. These are like, they're puzzle games ultimately. But it also has like Mario's moveset, with the exception of maybe Odyssey. Like Mario's moveset in those games is weirdly robust. Like you can do like, handstands and like various types of jumps, and you can do all this crazy junk with Mario, and I kind of like that about it. But they're also these really like kind of concise like single screen puzzles. So it also has a little bit of that like Captain Toad energy to it also. And I really like I've only played, so I played the first one, and then they did one, was it like March of the Minis or whatever, the one that was a dual release on Wii U and 3DS?
I remember March of the Minis.
I played that, and I liked it okay. It was similar, but they scaled back a lot of the more simplistic, nature. Like this first one, I think is a really good sort of crystallized little thing of just like, yeah, just like these single screen puzzle things. And then also working in like the sort of, DK flavor to it as well. I like that in the new version, they're adding like new levels and stuff to it too, which is cool. I think it kind of like justifies its existence a little bit, because I thought it was weird. Like I thought it was a weird one to remake originally, because when they first announced it, I'm like, are they just going to do nothing to it? But they are like they're adding like new content to it and stuff. So that has me a lot more interested. So I'm going to pick this one up.
Nice. This is one I think I'm going to wait on. I'll see how it reviews and
yeah,
see how I like it. I mean, I enjoy Mario. My kids
needs a
love Mario,
demo.
so.
Needs a demo.
Yes, everything should have a demo. Everything.
Yeah, I was a little surprised.
Just all the good games.
Because I'll tell you all this. Like, I was a little surprised when they put out that trailer. I thought the trailer was going to end with, demo available now or whatever.
Right.
Because they did it for another code, which just came out. And to be honest with y'all, the demo like unsold me from another code. Like, I played the demo and I was like, like I don't really think I'm going to pick this up. But either way, I like that they put it out there because it gives the game more publicity. And it lets people like, yeah, get their hands on it to decide how they feel about it before they make a purchasing decision, So yeah, do that.
Do it, Nintendo. We know you listen to our show.
Doug Bowser. Let's go.
Yeah, he follows Seth everywhere. So I know
he listens to all of my shows.
I know Doug will see it.
Dougie Fresh is tuning in.
Micah, hit us with our next news item. Yeah, well, apparently there's some epilogue to the hidden treasures of Area Zero that you can play. And to do that, you also need to complete it doesn't specify, it's being kind of vague, but a post-game event in the base game, and also complete the stories part 1 and 2 of the DLC. And then you also need to claim a mythical Pecha Berry. Via the mystery gift.
Kind of weird.
I didn't know.
I don't know if many people have missed out on that, or
I didn't
convoluted.
I didn't know this was a thing. That there was like an epilogue thing, and now I'm like, I've been seeing clips and like avoiding them because I have the DLC.
Oh no.
I don't want to talk about it. No. Yeah, everything disconnected there, but we're back. But yeah, so I completely missed everything you said, Seth.
No, all good. Yeah, I was just I was really just popping off. I was really spitting there. No, I was just, I do kind of want to like, despite the fact that like the games are what they are, not going to get on a rant about it or whatever. They're never going to patch those games. They're never going to do what they said they were going to do with those games.
Right? Isn't it wild? Isn't it? Oh god. Yeah.
They're never going to do it. But I've come to accept it. It's been, close to a year and a half now. Like it's not going to happen. But like I kind of want to just like see what they were cooking. Like I kind of want to play the DLC just to like see the totality of what they were cooking. Like I want to at least say that I've experienced the whole thing before because to be honest, like the situation makes me so mad that like I'm almost kind of like to the point of being done with Pokemon altogether. And like I kind of want to just like before I make that kind of judgment call, I want to see all of it, So I don't know. We'll see.
Did you complete the base game? Like,
yes.
Yeah.
Completed the base game.
There is so much in it that like I'm like, yeah, like this is the right direction. These are the right decisions. But then it's just bogged down by some pretty rough decisions. Not only from the fact that it's just unpolished as all get out, but just like game design choices that I think take away from the experience overall.
Yeah, it's a bummer. It makes me upset.
Yeah. Like I know you disagree because you're like, oh, that's not that bad, but man,
it's not that bad.
It's pretty bad.
I feel like
I feel like it never really affected, at least the graphical stuff. But yeah, I feel like it was a little wonky at times, but it never really affected my enjoyment.
Yeah, well, and I almost would have respected it more if they just didn't say anything. If they were like, it is what it is. Guess what? Game's busted, deal with it. Which is what has happened. But like they said, like at the like not long after the launch, they issued a statement saying like, hey, we're gonna continue. And all they've done is maintained like the baseline. Like every time I see a headline about a new Pokemon Scarlet and Violet patch, I'm like, is this the one? Is this the one that actually makes it like, you know, like not a busted piece of garbage? And like, nah, we patched like a thing in the Terra Raid battles or something like that. You know, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys. And it's, I mean, you know, and I haven't played the DLC yet, so I don't know. I don't know if the DLC has improved anything. It sounds like it hasn't. And to
no,
me,
not in any of those issues. It just
I
gives
didn't think
more.
so.
It gives more story, at least for part 1. And I will say that part 1 a little disappointing for me. But I've heard part
That's what I've heard.
I've heard part 2's pretty good, but I haven't.
Yeah.
I will withhold judgment till I get to play it. I'm just glad they're finally bringing in at it's either there or in the epilogue we get back with Arvin and Nimona.
That's good.
It's like that was a bafflingly bad decision story-wise to just go like, oh, they don't get to come with you. It's like
that is weird. Yeah, I like that crew. Like I think that's what
like,
makes me the most mad.
That feels like what the anime, like the 90s anime.
Yeah.
Right? It's you, the trainer, you've got and you've got like the side characters that
your group of friends.
Your group of friends, and they all have like a very distinct personality and honestly some kind of like they're very caricatured, but they also all have like pretty intense backstories for
it's
why
really good.
Why they are the way they are, and
the story's great.
Yeah, I think that was the best part of the game, was when you are as like you're down traveling in the Great Plateau,
the Area Zero.
Area Zero, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great. Like
yeah.
I think the story's great. I think the characters are really good. I love the music in the game. I like the region, Paldea. Like I like a lot of what they have going on, you know, actually. And you know, I do want to see, you know, what's going on with the DLC, and I'll play it eventually, but you know, I kind of, for me, I'm like, I really hope, and if, you know, if we track with historically what has happened, we're probably getting a Pokemon Presents pretty soon. Mm-hmm. And I kind of hope that they don't announce any new mainline thing. I kind of hope that they take this year off and just say, hey, like we have some spin-offs coming out, because I think the spin-offs have been way better than the mainline Pokemon entries lately. Yeah. Like new Pokemon Snap is like the best Pokemon game on Switch. You know, like
best looking, you know, that's for sure. It looks so good. Sure. It looks so good.
Yeah. And you know, I kind of hope that if any Pokemon thing comes out this year, I hope it's just either a remake that somebody else has done, or like let
somebody
them
else
relax.
That isn't who made
Ilka.
Yeah, nope, not Ilka.
Yeah.
I didn't fire those guys. I
didn't hate it as much as everybody else. I didn't hate it that much.
They're just bad. Fine. They're bad, and they're
well,
also
people
buggy.
hate it as much as Andros.
It's because I just love Gen 4 so much, and I just feel like it was done so dirty. It's
seems
fine.
like Gen 5 is next up though, and Gen 5 I would be actually excited about like Gen 5 remakes, because that is the generation that I'm the least familiar with. Like I played them, but it was kind of like in a weird point in my life when those games came out, and it feels like such a fog to me.
Yeah.
So I would be very interested
generation in that, because that was like the whole marketing behind it was start from a new beginning. I remember that being everywhere. Start from a new beginning, and it I think introduces like the most new Pokemon to the game that
it's
than
like
any
all
other
new
generation, because it's like the entire Pokedex was a new set of Pokemon. You played as an older protagonist. It was just different and very.
That's
it was
kind of
very
cool
good.
though.
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
It's
you know?
like it's the last true 2D Pokemon game, and so it's like peak for that art style.
Yeah, I kind of wish that they would just like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl did that kind of like chibi-ified thing. I kind of wish they would just do like an Octopath Traveler HD 2D thing.
That would be good. Yeah, that would look really good.
That'd be pretty sick. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, this turned into a spin-off conversation about what we want from Pokemon, but hey, we'll definitely be keeping our eye out for the next Pokemon Presents. I agree wholeheartedly with you, Seth. It would be great for them to take a breather. I think the backlash on this last game, as much as it like didn't affect the sales, the perception of the company was definitely went down pretty bad.
That's for sure.
It went
That's for sure. Well,
it went viral how bad the game was. And
yeah, well, and we also saw the sales plateau, like in a way that we didn't see. Like when Pokemon Sword and Shield had DLC coming out, the sales would spike when new DLC, and that was not happening. They sold 20 million right away. Like the first financial report that came out for it I think it sold like 21 or 22 million, and it has just plateaued ever since. And yeah, like that's a lot of that still puts you like among the best-selling Switch games for sure. But you have to imagine if that game was actually good and well made and that had positive word of mouth, and it had good DLC that had positive word of mouth, then like it would have continued to climb, and it would have, possibly gone on to do like 30 million units.
Yep.
Like Sword and Shield is still like up there,
Yep. It should have passed that, but it Yep. Well, let's move on to our next news item here. It kind of a bizarre drop. We got some new Smash Bros. Spirits. And these include oh my gosh, I'm a Tears of the Kingdom
Rauru.
How
Thank
dare
you.
I was giving you a chance to remember.
Were you? Because it would have been great if you saved me.
First of all, how dare you even suggest I didn't know that? That's why I'm so disappointed in you right now.
Rauru.
Even I knew.
We got Rauru. We got Big
I just
Man.
went a little bit to make sure it wasn't like
deep
Big
cut.
Man. Yeah, deep cut. Big Man, Shiver, and Fry. We got Noah and
some lady with a sword.
Mio.
Yep, crushed it.
Yeah,
Noah and Mio.
Yeah.
Yep, crushed
Look
it.
at me. I am a Xenoblade
Rauru, who's
guy.
that? But Noah and Mio, they live
never
rent free.
never seen these people in my life, and you knew who they were.
And then we got Mochi. I know Mochi. And
Ochi.
Mochi.
Yeah. Mochi. I do like Mochi as a name though. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Ochi.
It's really fitting actually.
And
yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
You take away like the ears and the snout, and that definitely looks just like
it looks like a little ball of Mochi. Yeah.
So this is cool and a bit weird to just kind of drop this randomly. I feel like Smash Bros. Ultimate shouldn't be receiving updates still. It's like that game's done. It's done, and these don't. Personally, I do not feel like the spirits add much to the game. It is fun for the like spirit matches that they come up with for them. That's
I like
cool.
those.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But these are I don't feel excited when they go new spirits announced. I don't go, oh, I'm gonna fire up the game and play it.
I do, but like I fire it up and I clear them all out in 15 minutes, and then I go on with the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Like,
and maybe that's what they're supposed to be. Just kind of a little like, remember this game exists.
Remember the good old days.
Yeah, but like it does make me wonder, because I wouldn't be that shocked. I mean, I think that they have to be thinking about what's next for Smash Brothers, but I wouldn't be all that shocked if like whenever Switch 2 comes out or whatever, if they're just like Smash Ultimate Deluxe or Plus or whatever, and like here's whatever another round of Fighters Pass, and here's a ton of new spirits and stuff like that. So I don't know, we'll see, but
yeah,
that's
keep
it going.
My prediction is Smash Bros. Ultimate Deluxe Plus.
You have to imagine, because like the thing about it is like a lot of people are wondering like what's next for Smash Brothers, but I mean, much like with the Switch, it's like I kind of just want this. Like I kind of like this is really good what we have. I
think we've hit end game Marvel stage. You know what I mean? Like they don't know what to, like whatever you do next is not going to be as good. It's just like
we had this conversation on All In like a week or two ago, and my pitch for the next Smash Brothers, the way that I think you could make it actually different, like Ultimate could still exist and be its own thing, but the next Smash Brothers could be actually different if they turned it into a team brawler, like a Marvel versus Capcom thing. And like you could scale it back, but let me create like a team of like 2 or 3 fighters against your 2 or 3 fighters. And like you can tag them out, you can combine, you can even do like a 3-way like final smash. It'd be pretty sick. And I think that like you could have a more focused roster that way, because you're not going to get bigger and better than Smash Ultimate's roster, but you could hone in on the roster but still make it feel big because you can have all these different combinations. That'd be really cool. I would also like to see them bring back custom moves from Smash 3DS and Wii U, which I feel like was a really neat idea. Like these unlockable custom moves that could like totally change the way those moves worked, and it just didn't come back. And I don't know. Like I think there are things you could do. You don't have to like necessarily turn into a different genre or something, because I've seen a lot of people say like I think it's gonna become a an arena fighter or like Pokken tournament shooter or something. Yeah, it's like you don't got to go completely back to the drawing board.
We go Overwatch but with Nintendo characters.
Yeah,
actually right. That would actually be sick, like a 3D fighting like it would have to be like third person. Like, oh man, that'd be pretty fun. But it wouldn't be Smash
Mario
Bros.
Throwing fireballs out in first person.
Yeah, it wouldn't really be Smash Bros. But I guess I want more crossover games. So yeah, I'm all.
I do too. Yeah.
Did I hit that news item or was that you, Micah? I've got a news item. I'll share it. Let's talk about Ubisoft, and let's talk about Mario and Rabbids rising in sales. This comes from VGC. It's an interesting article. It's after a year of being branded a flop, Mario and Rabbids sequel is steadily selling. And I think this just leads credence to what everybody said, was that because these games go on sale so steep, and you see it all the time for Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, it's you see it on sale all the time, that when this new game comes out at full price, even though it is worth that price,
it's great. I love that game.
People look at that and go, it's going to go on sale, so I'm going to wait to pick it up when it's on sale. I find this really interesting, that we've gotten that because I remember Ubisoft coming out and going, yeah, this didn't do as good as we wanted, and now I think it passed up like 3 million in sales, and
yeah,
it's like, man. Micah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this. What do you think about this situation, and how do you feel?
Well, I think it's kind of a mistake for Ubisoft, like a long-term mistake for them to discount their games so much, because I mean, it gives the game like a quick boost in sales, which is a good thing, but then everyone comes to expect that you're going to drop the price, and it leads to people not buying it. Right. Because even like they might be like, well, I'll buy it later when it's dropped in price at some point, but then maybe 6 months, a year out, they have other games to play and they just never get around to getting it. So it might like.
Are you speaking from personal experience?
No, I'm still planning on getting it.
I'm just waiting for it to drop even lower.
Exactly.
That's the other kicker.
Not only are people paying like a third the price for it, so they don't get as much money from the sales, but some people just might not buy it at all.
That's what I was going to say. How many of those 3 million sales were for like $15? You know, like that's the thing ultimately is like it might have like the numbers on its side, but I don't know if the dollars are on its side at that point.
Right.
And it's unfortunate. There's self-fulfilling prophecy with that stuff, man, because they're like, oh my God, our games never sell and we're going to have to discount it to sell more. But because you're discounting it so quickly to sell more, that's why people aren't buying it. You know, I can't blame anybody who says, well, I'm not going to buy Mario Rabbids or Prince of Persia, it's going to go on sale in a month. And you're probably right. Like it probably is. And I think that it's interesting because if you look at Nintendo's created the opposite cadence where a lot of people are like, well, I might as well buy this Nintendo first party game on day one because it ain't going on sale. You know, like that's like they've created that thing, and Ubisoft has the opposite problem where I think Ubisoft could potentially curb this is I think what they should invest in is that Ubisoft Plus program that they have. It's actually rad. Like it's actually a really cool program. They have basically Ubisoft Game Pass. The problem is it isn't available on every platform. It's not on Switch. It's not on PS5. It's only on PC and Xbox and like on cloud streaming or whatever. But like you can get Ubisoft Plus for whatever. I think it's like $10 a month or something. And you can just play all of their new stuff as it comes out. And like if you're devaluing your games from those sales, if you just kind of like reconfigure like your metrics for it and lean into your model of Game Pass or whatever, I think that maybe there's a different way of measuring success than, oh, this game came out, it didn't immediately sell super well, we better discount it and then be disappointed by the sales that didn't happen because of that. You know.
Yep. I mean, you guys both hit exactly my thoughts and feelings on this scenario. I love that you bring up Nintendo, Seth, because it's like everybody will buy a Nintendo game, and Nintendo games do go on sale, but it's like a $60 game drops down to 40, like
45.
Yeah,
maybe. Like, and it's like a year later. You know what I mean? Whereas with everything Ubisoft puts out, it's like a pretty rapid turnaround where you start seeing discounts and sales. Even I mean, this Ubisoft I think is probably the extreme end, but this is a trend across gaming as a whole. I remember being quite shocked to see that the brand new Sonic Frontiers, the Black Friday after they came out, it was discounted to like half price. I was like, that game just came out like 2 weeks ago. It's perceived value, right? That these companies seem to not understand that they are trashing their own markets with these perceived value. And then these same companies will turn around and try and charge $70 out the gate for a game that isn't going to sell for that. Whereas Nintendo comes around and sells a game for $70 and everybody goes, okay. You know, like, and nobody's happy about it. I want to be clear that I'm not like I'm willing to just throw out $60, but Nintendo's the perceived value of a Nintendo game is higher. Like you just go, this game is worth more because it won't drop in price. You're not going to get it discounted.
Well, they believe in it. Like Nintendo believes in the product that they're putting out, which I think is an important thing. Is like when there was outcry about Tears of the Kingdom being $70, like their statement was, this isn't verbatim, I'm not quoting, but it was something akin to, it's $70 because it's worth $70.
Yeah.
You know, like, and they have that level of confidence, and they didn't establish a new norm. It's not like Mario Wonder didn't come out at $70. Pikmin 4 didn't come out at $70. If anything, they're releasing their games for cheaper. Like they have actually concocted like a revolving scale where stuff like WarioWare, Detective Pikachu, even I think Mario Donkey Kong is not full price. I think that's $50 if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They're experimenting with the like different things, and People just
it makes sense to me.
They control the perceived value of their market, where other game companies, it does not seem like they do.
Everybody does, but they don't allow themselves like that power because they get so gun shy about like the day one sales, the week one sales, the month one sales, or whatever. Like if you just like hold true to it and like ultimately above all else just make good video games that you're proud of, like the word of mouth speaks for you. You know, like if Prince of Persia is so good, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is so good and it's had such excellent word of mouth. It's like high 80s, I think, on like Metacritic, like high 80s, low 90s. Like it's reviewed extraordinarily well. And if it wasn't for
if we haven't started our fantasy critic yet, and we couldn't even claim it.
I know. Tell me about it. We'll be doing it soon. I think we're waiting until after the February Direct, because then we'll have a pool to actually pick from. Because right now there's like 3 announced Nintendo games.
Princess Peach, Showtime.
Exactly, right. But you know, I think that like that's a big problem there. If anybody else put out a game like Prince of Persia, people would buy it. You know, like people would buy it day one because it's Ubisoft. People are like, why in the world would I get that day one? You know,
yeah,
it's unfortunate.
Well, and you know what we're going to see is probably the same thing that we're seeing for Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope, because Mario and Rabbids Sparks of Hope is a phenomenal game. I am not super far into it, but it's like it's built with such a love, and like you can just, it's a great game. It's a great game. And so its word of mouth is overpowering Ubisoft's shooting itself in the foot. And I think we're going to see that with Prince of Persia, but at what cost, right? Like Ubisoft, in the end, it's great for the consumers because we're getting games at a cheaper price, but it's also bad because there's perceived like Mario and Rabbids. I thought after we saw them talking about how it was a flop, I'm like, well, that's the end of this series. But
yeah,
it's like when you see those things happen, you go, okay, this kills the series, and it's like you did it to yourself. That's the part that's frustrating, I think.
Yeah. Although they do believe in the DLC for that game, because that does not go on sale really. Like, the base game, they'll be like, it's $20, but if you want the gold version, that's still $90.
Well, yeah, and they know like that DLC is strong. Like they know that like that Rayman DLC, like people were excited about that. You know, they knew what they had there. It's weird too.
They're not excited enough to rate it for our Critic League. Sorry to keep bringing this up.
It's at 12 on Metacritic.
yeah, I know.
Or 82, I should say. 12 points.
I was like, whoa, Micah, we don't want that. What are you talking about?
We don't want to lose all those points. Hang on now. Yeah, well, it gets into weird like socioeconomic stuff too, because like there's also there's definitely like a sort of wait for sale mentality with the modern gamer because the economy is so bad, and because like people, you know, money is precious and video games are expensive, and like so you're, you know, this is a premium leisure hobby. This is a luxury hobby.
Yeah.
Video games are expensive and people don't have that kind of disposable income. So people are much more willing to wait on a sale. And that's how you get the popularity of like these, you know, your Deku deals and your Wario 64s and, you know, and stuff like that. And that's how that stuff kind of comes into popularity. And so it all creates this sort of wait for sale culture. When you really think about it, when you really truly think about it, it's like you got people who are waiting like 2 years to save $20 on a game. You know, it's like, just don't go to like McDonald's this week and like you can make up the dip. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of.
But if you've already got games to play, then I mean, you're not really losing out on things to do, I guess.
Totally, totally, and you got to do it makes sense with you.
I can agree with that. Like sometimes it doesn't make sense to wait that long for that amount of savings.
Yeah. So it's just, but I totally get it though. It creates, because like, you know, it does definitely create like a little bit of like a wait for sale culture. There are games that like I don't know if I'm ever gonna play, but if I see it on a deep enough discount, I'll grab it. You know what I mean? Like if like I don't know. I've probably got, 50 games on my Switch, like backlog or whatever. And that creates a whole other subculture, the backlog culture. That's a whole other thing. So it's created all these weird little pockets of like video game subculture that I think is interesting. And I think that like, yeah, like it's a socioeconomic issue at the heart of it. And it's interesting to pick apart because Ubisoft, I think, kind of becomes like the sort of punching bag for it, and justifiably so. But like they're in control of it, and I think that like the options for them, if they don't just keep going down the same course, the options for them are to get acquired, which I think is a real possibility. Or like, yeah, like rethink your measure of success. Like you have to completely reformulate. Like I really do think that if they had leaned into and invested, heavily into Ubisoft Plus and made it a viable like Game Pass competitor, or lumped in with Game Pass or something like that, it could be an interesting thing. But like the fact that it's not even, I can't even do it on my Switch or my PS5, like, because I thought to myself, well, maybe I'll just play this on my PS5 because Ubisoft Plus is on there, right? No, it's not. Like, that's crazy to me, you know? And so,
where is it?
Be confident.
It's like, that's, yeah. Yep.
So,
well, thank you guys for sharing your thoughts on this one, because I think it's interesting. I'm glad to see the game is coming out like a phoenix in the ashes. Hopefully,
it deserves it.
We'll see it grow and grow. Mike, I think for our last news item here, do you just want to hit the top 20 best-selling games list?
Let's do it.
All right. So to close out our news coverage here, I just wanted to throw out this list here. So this is a ranking of the top-selling games on Nintendo Switch. This includes physical and digital as what's publicly available. So we have
digital on one of them. It says it includes digital, but then they have the asterisk thing that's digital sales not included. It's on all of them except Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. Is it the NPD or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah, it's because Nintendo first party, they only report physical sales to the NPD, and so it's always like incomplete data. It's always weird.
But it also still, with just that, outsells everything else. So we have at number 1, we've got The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, which is no surprise there. Number 2 is Mario Bros. Wonder, and number 3 we've got Mario Kart 8. And then that's the top 3 for 2023. I think those are pretty cool to see. I'm obviously excited to see Tears of the Kingdom up there, because I think Tears of the Kingdom is a fantastic game. Mm-hmm. I want more games like it. I think Nintendo's received like a clear message there. Almost to the detriment that some might say. They're like, oh, because people miss like classic Zelda. We've talked about that previously on the show.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think we have to knock Tears of the Kingdom and Breath of the Wild because we want old stuff too.
Like, classic Zelda never sold like this.
Yeah,
I got news for you. Yeah. Classic Zelda never sold like this.
I want classic Zelda. Like, why not have both? But I still want to promote this and for this to be super successful because it's really fun.
I agree.
Mario Bros. Wonder being up there. Any surprises on this list for either of you guys?
No, not at all.
Yeah, not really. I mean, there's only 2 games that aren't published by Nintendo on the list.
That's always the way.
Legacy, and Mario and Rabbids. I mean, maybe they should be a little more proud of their sales than they are.
Yeah.
I guess that one does include the digital as well.
I was surprised to see Nintendo Switch Sports on this list. Because that one didn't seem like it sold great or is talked about much. at all.
It did well, but didn't have the mind share. I feel like nobody talks about it anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was a little surprised to see that creeping up there, but that's good.
They had that bundle too, didn't they? Like, didn't they release a bundle with it finally?
Oh yes, they did. It was
yeah.
It came with the Switch.
Yeah.
But that outsold Fire Emblem Engage. That's lame. Because that was that came out last year, but also
that doesn't super shock me.
It's a much more wide appeal type game.
Yeah, Fire Emblem's pretty niche. Yeah,
just
as much as Nintendo
Metroid
makes
Prime is pretty niche, but they keep making a bajillion Fire Emblem games and not more Metroid Prime games.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Well,
I guess they've been making a Metroid Prime game for last like 6.5 years now or something. So I guess that's not a super accurate statement, but
yeah, that's true.
They've come out with like 4 Fire Emblem games since they've been developing Prime.
This has got to be the year, I think. I mean, this has got to be the year, right?
It has to be, right?
It's got to be the year
to at least hear something.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I think we'll cover for this week in Nintendo news. And we don't have anything in the rumor mill. The rumor Pikmin are on break and haven't brought us back any rumors.
They're in the onion.
Yeah,
they're hanging out in the onion.
Chilling. Yeah, it's a good time to be a Pikmin. But we do have a question that we asked to the community, and so it's time for Last Week We Asked You. Alrighty, last week we asked you. I have to for the exact phrasing of the question. If Nintendo made a theme park ride based on any game, which game would it be, and what would the ride entail? Micah, do you want to read off our first answer here? I think comes from Octoboy.
Octoboy.
Saying
it would be Splatoon with a colored water slide.
Easy. Yeah,
pretty good.
That's like
yeah, that'd be cool.
That's like easy pickings for Nintendo to make a water park that's Splatoon themed. I could see them doing this with the Super Nintendo World, right? They have the Super Nintendo World, and then they're working on the Donkey Kong expansion. For them to add a water park piece that is Splatoon themed would be very cool. I hope that if they do, it incorporates the music really well. From what I have found for water parks that I've attended is like they don't really do music other than like in the like general area, and it's kind of usually like Beach Boys or some generic beach sounding music.
Don't steal my sunshine.
Yeah. So I think it would be really cool if you're going down the slide and you're listening to like
just some jamming tunes.
Yeah, some like jamming Splatoon music could be really cool.
Yeah.
Could be really cool.
Yeah, that'd be sick actually. Well, and you could even imagine too. I mean, like it's so perfect for like if you had like a water park component to Super Nintendo World that was Splatoon themed, like it's so primed and ready for like water guns,
Yeah.
It's right there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
You can even have the ride like kind of side by side with the other team or something. You could just be like blasting each other with.
Okay, they do that. They do that thing at Disney for like I think there's a couple rides that do that where it's like a competition. Tron does that, but it's an illusion. It's a mirror.
What would be cool too? I don't know how this would work. I'm just spitballing this. I don't know what the logistics of this would be. But what if how they have those like water, like those like bath mats and stuff where like if you put water on it, there's like a pattern under it or something like that. Like what if there was a way to make it so that when you shoot the water, like the floor is made of that? And it could like look like, even though it's water, it can look like ink on the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd
be kind of neat.
That would be really cool.
Yeah.
Or it's just the first water park to incorporate a colored water for all of the
actual
park.
ink.
It's just ink.
This is the world's first ink park.
Horrible.
Our next answer here comes from Spotify. Alabeo says, from someone who is addicted to Pokemon Go. This is not an answer to the question. Sorry, Alabeo, but this is what Micah was talking about. Is the free timed research for the winter event. This is from our last episode. This is a comment on that. I apologize.
Thank you. Relating to Pokemon Go?
Thank you for the correction, Alabeo.
That actually randomly reminds me, after 11 months, I finally caught my 5th Surskit for part of a challenge.
Finally got him.
Good job.
I got 4 of the 5 during the event where they had a bunch, and I was like, surely I can get one more easily. It took like 10 and a half more months to see a single one.
Got him. Did it.
So that was pretty cool, I guess.
All right, so I have an actual answer here from Ghost on Spotify. It says a Splatoon-themed ride would be cool. It'd be one of those rides where you shoot things while riding through. So forego the water park idea, and instead we make it like Buzz Lightyear Astro Blaster, or if you've played Midway Mania, like one of those like 3D target games. And
Men in Black Alien Attack vibe.
Yes.
Yeah.
And what if it combined it, right? It was water. You're spraying water that makes it look like ink, like Seth has, but instead of it being a water ride, it's a arcade shooter ride. That would work really well.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
That would work really well. Thank you for the answer, Ghost. Micah, hit us with our next one from Discord.
Yeah. Dan from Retro Logic said, a while back, Disney World had an experience based on A Bug's Life where you explored an area that made you feel tiny. So it had huge blades of grass, rocks, and gigantic sandbox toys. They said they want that, but for Pikmin.
Good call.
It's a great call. They used to have
the whole thing and then convert it to Pikmin things.
It was called Bugs World. I'm a big Disney fanatic. Parks wise, anyways, like Disney parks. I grew up going to.
Are you sure it wasn't called Bugs Land?
Yeah, it was Bugs Land. Bugs Land.
I only know that because your comment said, "Dude, Bugs Land was awesome."
Yeah. Well, hey, so I was right. One of those answers is right. Bugs World, Bugs Land, and yeah, there was a really cool ride where you rode. I think the caterpillar's name is Heimlich.
Yeah.
And you ride around through foods, and it sprayed this like mist of smell for the food that you were on.
That's cool.
Going through like a watermelon, and it smelled really watermelony. And I remember as a kid thinking like, "This is mind-blowing 4D technology."
Like
the ride goes so slow. It is not a very great ride, but it's like stuff like that was just really cool, and just being in that shrunk down perspective. They used specific plants that kind of look like giant small plants, like bamboo to kind of mimic grass, just like these like big huge leafy plants to kind of look like grass. And it's just really fun to be in like an actual place that's like this shrunk down. Modern Disney, so they got rid of that at Disneyland. It's been replaced with Cars Land. But Disney World has a Toy Story themed area, and it's kind of same vibes. It's just like giant toys and things around you. Pikmin would just be so cool, a cool area. Yeah. I'm like,
that's
so
a great
hype.
idea.
I'm so hype about that idea, Dan. Like they need to do that. Did you know that Pikmin are there in the parks?
Yeah, they're hiding out.
Universal.
That's like their hidden Mickey.
Yep.
Hidden Pikmin.
Miyamoto showing his favoritism once again. Next answer here comes from Cockapoo on Spotify. An original 3D Mario game that you play in the ride. So
that could be weird and interesting.
This is the only way.
Like, you just hop in the ride and there's a console and a controller. You just, like, play.
Yeah, I think it's probably capturing the essence or spirit of 3D Mario game, and it's more of a game than it is a ride. Because I think what you find with a lot of rides is that it's the same experience every time you go on, and at best you get Star Wars does one where it's like the scene shuffles different, like
right.
You're flying through your spaceship and it's like, oh, this is slightly different, but you don't really have an effect on what's happening. And I think that's the spirit that Cockapoo's trying to capture here.
Yeah, yeah. They do have that in Super Nintendo World. There's that like Bowser Jr.'s challenge or whatever, where like you're casting like a shadow, on the wall basically, and you can actually like get a super mushroom and your shadow gets bigger and you can throw out fireballs and stuff. So that's sort of it. It's cool that they're like playing with that, like that they're thinking about that at all. So yeah, there's probably something there.
Yeah, I think so. Micah, you want to hit us with the next answer?
Given by Monkey Thunder, a roller coaster based on Kirby Canvas Curse for the DS.
Deep cut.
I never played that one.
Good game.
It's the one that's the one where you like draw.
You draw the track.
Like you draw the track on. Yeah. And along these same lines, how cool would a Mario Maker roller coaster be? Like it looks like it's like putting the pieces on as you're riding it. Like that'd
be kind of cool.
Like things like being dragged in and stuff. That would be really cool. I like this idea of a self-building ride, but it's all visual, right?
It's an illusion, right? Because it would still have to be like you're actually on the. It's like what they're doing with that
with Donkey Kong.
that Donkey Kong minecart.
Yeah. I'm very excited about that. Where it's like you're riding above the actual track, so it looks like you're doing.
Like you're totally safe, but it looks like you're in air, right?
Yeah.
So
I think that's a good pick, Monkey Thunder. Next one comes from Datfast John. We got the retro logic gang joining for pitch and answers here. But John says the easy answer is Star Fox. It essentially is already a ride.
He's not wrong.
He's not. And this exists with the Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run. I mean, it is a Star Fox. It is a Star Fox game to go on that ride. You have different people controlling like the different parts of the ship. This would be so fun with a Star Fox world.
Dude, it would be. Well, they have my wife and I. My wife's from Seattle, and they have the Seattle like Museum of Flight, and in there's like a flight simulator thing that you can sit in. Like it is like full 360. Like you can actually do a barrel roll, and that would be kind of funny. Like if they had a way of like simulating an actual barrel roll.
Yeah,
and you have to be able to do a barrel roll on this roller coaster.
Yeah,
for sure.
Bare minimum.
Yeah. The only issue with
that
is that raises your height requirement drastically if you're doing barrel rolls. Like, okay,
that's true.
You got to be this tall to ride the ride. But
stings for people shorter than that.
Yeah, it's like you need some
thrill. Just getting flung around.
You need some thrill rides, right? Like they can't all be. That's one of the things that I like about what they're doing there now. It kind of has like different levels of rides. I think the Mario Kart one's a little like a medium intensity ride, and then you have like the Yoshi one where you're just kind of sitting, rolling through.
That one's for the kids, right?
Yeah,
like it's just like that's just kind of there.
And then we're gonna have the Donkey Kong roller coaster, which is more high intensity.
I hope that's fast. Yeah, I hope that's fast. Like I hope they let that kind of rip a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Our next one. Go ahead, read that one off, Micah.
Given by Fedorable Will, Splatoon Dark Ride. Not 100% sure what that means. I'm going to be honest. You're in this.
Dark rides are.
It's just like in the dark.
No,
kind of like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah,
E.T.
They're rides that are primarily indoor.
Yeah.
I see.
So it's a dark ride, being like the what you
away from the sun.
Yeah. No outer air.
That's where you go to cool off. Yeah.
Yeah. It goes on to say, where you're in this bumper car, you can drive around and shoot ink from. That way you can not get your clothes messed up via being in a car. And you compete against others to ink the most turf in this bumper car's arena. And if you bump into an enemy car, you disable their ability to spray temporarily. And it will also have a hologram thing that has different idols and bands from the game come and give performances. And a different one will play each time.
That'd be sick. That would actually be sick. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I will admit, like, the first part of this, I was like, I don't know how logistically this would work. There's no way they would do this, because it's like, that's so messy and wild. But the hologram idea, like, hold on, we're on to something now. It's like, and it changes.
A little Hatsune Miku vibe in there.
Yeah, it changes every time. I love that kind of thing, because it makes you want to go back to see what other things you could get. Again, I'm all my comparisons here to Disney, or because frequent to Disney World. Guardians of the Galaxy has a roller coaster, and I think they shuffle through 6 or 8 songs. That are the main song for the ride the whole time that you're on. They're all like, 70s, 80s hits.
Sure. Yeah, they're classics.
Yeah, kind of the Guardians soundtrack.
Hooked on a Feeling.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you want me to read off his alternative answer?
Oh, yeah.
He says, a shoot 'em up rail ride where you shoot 5-star reviews at a certain Nintendo podcaster to help them take over the world of Nintendo podcasts.
Well done.
Yeah, got him.
Well done.
Got him. I didn't actually put that. That's literally he wrote that alternative answer. Yeah, leave us a 5-star review. It helps the show out immensely, makes us feel good about ourselves. And you know what? Makes you feel good about yourself, too, because you did a good deed. You helped us take over the world, which is a good deed in our book. Next up, we have Octorock. Says Donkey Kong Country Mine Kart Coaster.
Hey, guess what?
Monkey Thunder
good
says,
news.
Have I got news for you?
Yeah, good news, Adam.
So good. We have any more answers here? Yes, we have 2 more.
One more from I'm Back, aka Flightsy. I'd be down for a warp star ride with Kirby.
Of course, it would be a Kirby answer from Flightsy.
From Flightsy,
of course.
Yeah, that would be cool. There needs to be some Kirby. Kirby's just such a safe IP to use for
so everything. Marketable. Yeah.
Truly the most marketable Nintendo character.
Who knows? Maybe we'll be getting another Kirby's Air Ride, since they're just never going to make Mario Kart 9. So they'll need a new sort of
that would be cool
racer game, and then they can make a roller coaster about
it. Presto also has a Kirby suggestion. It says Kirby ride in the style of the Magic School Bus, where you go inside of him and see all the enemies he swallowed.
They're all just screaming for help.
So you're just like in there, and there's like a whole world inside Kirby.
It would be kind of neat if they did like a ride version of Kirby's Dream Buffet, where like you're in like a little ball, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like you stay stationary, but it's like rolling around you, and that'd be kind of neat. There might be a way to sort of pull that. It'd probably be virtual, like on a virtual track, like they have some of those rides where like the ride feels like it's moving, but it's actually not.
Yeah.
They could maybe do something like that. You're just like rolling around as a big old Kirby.
Yeah, or kind of do the augmented thing like what they're doing with the Mario Kart ride, right? Where it's partially virtual and partially not. These are all great answers, and we need to hire all of these people to work at Universal to be creating these things. I am still saddened that Nintendo's not just making their own theme park. But, they don't have the experience or the finances to really do that. But they could. They have the...
You sure about that?
Yeah. Making a theme park is wildly expensive. wildly expensive.
It'd be a huge investment.
Yeah. They have the IP to do it. They're one of the few, I think, like conglomerate corporation type IP owners that has the IP to compete with something like Disney.
Mm-hmm.
But it also makes sense to go with Universal because Universal is just kind of a smorgasbord of all sorts of IPs at this point. They're like, let's throw them all together.
Way cheaper. It's a good relationship to have. I mean, when even Harry Potter is sort of hitching their horse to the Universal wagon, it kind of just makes sense.
Yep.
Yep.
But that's gonna do it for Last Week We Asked You. Thank you to everybody who submitted answers to this question. Micah, what should we do for our next question? I think we have a list here of questions. Let's go with okay.
What crimes would you be willing to commit to make a Metroid Prime 4 come out this next week?
No, that's not. All right. Here's the next week's question. If Nintendo characters attended high school together, who would be the popular kid, the class clown, the overachiever, and the rebel? Give us your high school. I guess we go the jock, the cheerleader,
like yearbook categories.
Yeah. Give us your Nintendo character fill-ins for stereotypical high school role. Excited to see those answers. But thanks again to everybody who submitted. And if you want to submit a question to us for our recurring segment, The Community Corner, you can do that as well by joining up our Discord. But let's close out here. We have one final segment of the show to talk about, and that is the PAL topic. Alrighty, the PAL topic today was actually suggested while we were streaming live. I actually really like this idea here from RW Oso. Says, each of you gets randomly assigned a game, and you have to do your best to compare it to real-life activities like you're explaining to a non-gamer friend. And we can make it a competition to see who gives the best explanation of a game.
I see.
So we are explaining a game to someone who has not played games. Does that make sense?
So you can't compare it to other video. You have to compare it to things in real life. You can't say, yeah, this is like Mario or whatever. Yeah.
Yes.
Unless you're talking about Mario Lopez.
That's true. This is a lot like Mario Lopez.
Yeah.
If you think
Mario
about
I
it.
Think
What? So let's go. I'll try this random generator here. And we'll just go from the top. We'll do Switch games.
Okay.
And that is... Oh, I didn't click the button I have here for my generator properly. All right. Micah, you get Dead Cells. Seth, you get Mario Party. And I get Tetris 99.
Jeez.
Good luck.
Yeah, good.
These rough batch of games. Okay.
So you have to explain this. You cannot reference other games in your explanation. You have to give us your what is this? What do you do? First off, you guys are. I'm fairly certain. Like, you played Dead Cells, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I was like,
I have the Netflix version on my phone right now because it comes with all the DLCs.
oh,
Except
Oh, nice.
I don't have a controller, so I have to try and play on my phone, which is kind of horrible.
I bet.
Not
yeah,
much
for a
into
game
touch
like Dead
controls.
Cells.
I bet.
Well, Micah, I think we'll start with you if you don't mind going first.
What if I did mind going first?
Well, I mean, I could try to go first.
I mean, unless you like really don't want to go first.
I really don't. I'll be honest. I have.
I'll go first. I'll do it. I'll go first.
Seth will go first.
Fast.
Yeah, I volunteer myself as tribute.
I am not a good. Well, I didn't want to throw our guest under the bus to go first, but he's volunteering.
No, I'll do it.
Seth,
I volunteer as tribute.
Super Mario Party for a non-gamer. How would you describe?
So
this
specifically Super Mario Party.
Yes.
Okay, not just like generalized Mario Party. Okay, Super Mario Party is like if you think about playing a board game with your family on like a family game night, except the controller you sort of shake it based on the activities. So there's a game in Super Mario Party where you have to flip steak. So you hold the controller, and with the motion, you actually flip the controller like you're flipping a steak, like a pan, like you're holding a pan in real life. There's a rowboat game that you can play where with the controller you row like you would, using oars in real life. I feel like Super Mario Party is actually probably the easiest of the three to describe compared to real life activities.
I was about to say, wait a second, these are all just real life activities. And you're just like, we just do that.
These are
with
all
the
just
controller.
You just do that, but with the controller. Now, the cool thing is there's actually technology within the controller that can also simulate real life things. So there's a game where if you imagine holding a box of marbles, you can shake it around and you could, try to count the marbles that are inside. And it feels like in the controller, like you're doing, like you can feel the marbles moving around. It's really interesting. And you're even rolling dice. You know what rolling dice is. We roll dice in real life. Yeah.
The thing everybody does. Just
everybody rolls dice, So, yeah, I feel like that it's actually, there's a lot of, I think the ultimate lesson to take away from here is that much like Mario Lopez, Super Mario Party is a lot like life, like life and Mario Lopez.
So true. And why is it called Super Mario Party? Because Mario Lopez is the main character of the
I think so.
So
yeah,
perfect.
And we're welcoming in right now special guest Mario Lopez. Could you imagine? He's been waiting this whole time.
We just kept him in the backstage.
All right,
comes out from under my desk.
Micah, let's do another rock paper scissors to see who goes next.
Well, you know what I'm gonna throw then.
Okay. Rock paper scissors shoot.
Aha! The reverse psychology.
I learned.
Yeah.
That would have been normal psychology, not reverse.
Well, yeah. It's I guess that's true. Reverse psychology is.
I was planning on doing him a solid by going first, so you could have more time to think about how to explain Tetris here.
Am I going first?
Psychology people.
Yeah, I'm going first.
I don't think Tetris is that.
Oh, bad. Wait a second. I thought of that backwards. Yet you would be going first.
So I'm going first.
Based off our previous rules. Yeah, I didn't think that through, apparently.
All right. What is Tetris? Do you know what shapes are? Shapes. You love them.
I do.
Everybody loves shapes. One of my favorite shapes is the square, because you can make so many things if you have multiple squares of something, right? And if you put like squares into certain shapes, like so we do a square here, a square here, a square here. You get like an L shape of squares, right? Or you could do like a plus or a T as some people might call it, like a T shape, or just a big block, or like all these different all these different forms. Well, this game is that you have these different.
You mentioned like multiple shapes that aren't actually Tetris shapes. Explanation there.
L shape.
There's an L shape. There's a T shape.
And there's a big square.
Is there a
big square
T shape?
Yeah.
You mentioned a plus sign.
The plus sign is a T. No, there is a T shape.
There's a T. Yeah.
It's like
That's
I see. I mean,
that's like one of the most useful pieces. Yeah.
And those are like stairs. That's what I was thinking of it.
Yeah,
as,
yeah,
like
those are like
Mario
stairs.
stair thing.
Or there's just like the one long one.
I was thinking it for it to be a T. I feel like
this
tallness has to be taller. Than
this game gives you a series of shapes made using squares, and they are dropping onto a grid, and you have to get them to line up in a row, and that will make the row disappear. And the goal of the game is to not let your board fill up as these things are falling down. What real world activity is comparable to this? It's kind of like
Did you look up? Did you? The way you like looked over, it looked like you were looking at a list of things you had.
He was searching. I can relate to that. You sort of search the air
side.
like
real life things similar to Tetris. You like Google that real quick, and you're like, yes.
No. I'm looking at nothing actually.
I do the same thing. I'm trying to pluck an answer from the air, looking around.
Oh, here it is. It's like packing. It's like packing a suitcase. You have all of the things you need to fit into a suitcase, but they're not going to fit in there if you just throw them in. So putting them in their specific spots so that they're tucked in and angled and all nice and neat, or like putting things away in a drawer. Tetris is actually pretty easy because it's sorting. That's what it is. This is pretty easy to describe because you look at things and you just naturally want to put things in order. It's like laying tile on a ground. Or on artwork, stacking things.
Laying tiles on artwork?
Oh yeah.
Laying tiles?
It's
like stacking things.
It's like
it's sorting. Like that's what it is, and you want to sort into these perfect lines to clear. And then the mechanics of the game, as you're playing the game, these things drop, and you get to pick where they drop so that they fit. You can spin them so that they can fit into better positions and pieces. So you're kind of like putting together a little bit of a puzzle. And the challenge is that the further you get into the game, the faster it gets, the faster it goes. And so you have to start being able to make those split decisions on where to pack the piece faster and faster and faster until you break the game. As Blue Scooty did a couple weeks ago.
That's true.
So, I mean, hey, this is a game for everybody. There's a reason that Nintendo packed this as the pack-in title for the Game Boy. It's the Wii Sports of handheld gaming, right? Like it's the game everybody can play, and I think everybody should play. There you go. That's my pitch. That's Tetris for a non-gamer. It's packing. That's what it is.
It is like a jigsaw puzzle with square pieces, a limited amount of space, and increased speed to remove those spaces without filling up the limited space that you have.
Yeah. Well, now for arguably the hardest one, Micah.
I think so.
Why don't you give us your explanation of
this is going to be easy.
Dead cells?
We all know who Venom is, right? Alien symbiote,
of course.
takes over, essentially possesses people, kind of. Well, you are essentially Venom, and you've been kidnapped and locked in a dungeon, and you can possess bodies, potentially already dead bodies. I don't really know. And you're essentially just trying to punch your way out of this dungeon, which also has lots of things to do with clocks and towns on stilts and a distillery for some reason.
I like how the question specifically said to reference like real world things, and you're like, we all know Venom. I was like, yeah, that's true.
You know Venom.
It's a real world and non-game things.
Yeah, real non-game.
Okay, well, have you ever seen a puddle of molasses?
You know what? I have not.
But imagine that molasses can climb up walls and also possess bodies.
Okay.
And we've all heard about stilts and towns on stilts and clocks. So the rest of it still fits.
And punching. Punching is a real world activity.
Mm-hmm.
It's that thing you do to open doors and.
I like to imagine this is how they pitched Dead Cells. Like this is how they pitched it. Imagine molasses.
Picture this:
sentient
puddle of molasses.
Let me ask you this. Hi, Seth Sturgill, representative of Motion Twin, developers of Dead Cells. I think it's Motion Twin, right?
It sounds right. But
imagine, if you will, a sentient puddle of molasses that can also possess. Great, done.
Yeah, I don't actually know what your body is like made of. If you're just like possessing like empty armor or clothing kind of a thing, I don't actually know because I haven't gotten very far into the game.
Yeah.
Those were really good.
I was like, dude, I feel like I explained it perfectly already. Is there any parts where y'all might still be confused?
I think yours is the one that I know the least about based off your explanation, but I'm hooked. I'm intrigued. I'm just like, I have no idea what this game would be.
He could have said anything.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, when your body gets destroyed, they essentially just flush you back down the toilet into your starting position.
That's true. Yeah.
And you possess a new body.
Man, that was well done, by all parties here, I think. Who do you think did the best? I kind of think I got to give it to Seth.
I guess, but like I feel like I had the easiest one because like as I was talking through it, I realized that just so many of the Mario Party, specifically Super Mario Party activities, are just real life activities.
Super Mario Party is designed to be an entry to the series, like that.
Yeah,
100%. This was really fun. I actually, could we do another quick round, another rapid fire round here?
Sure.
I'm
this
down. Time, let's do N64 games.
Okay.
Okay. Seth, you're gonna like this one. Majora's Mask. Sweet. That is what you get. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. Micah, you get GoldenEye 007.
Oh yeah.
And I get Wave Race 64. I think I'll go first because mine's
That's
really
an easy one.
Yeah. Please tell me what Wave Race 64
How
is
can you ever compare this to real life?
terms.
I don't understand.
What real world activity is Wave Race 64 like? Well, have you been on a jet ski? Because
do you know Venom?
Do you know Venom? Have you ever seen Mario Lopez ride a jet ski?
Oh, now I'm starting to get it.
I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I'm picking it up.
Just you ride a jet ski around like a water racetrack, and like with you know like real life water racetracks look like. There's buoys marking where you go, and the cool thing is we don't have to buy a jet ski. We can get the experience here, and this, unlike real jet skiing, there's no risk of drowning. There's a killer soundtrack, and that's it. Those are my benefits versus real jet skiing. Wave Race can play multiplayer, which if you're not familiar with what that is, there's 2 jet skis. We split the screen in half, and 2 people can be riding jet skis in the game, just like real life. If you had 2 jet skis, and you know that would be really expensive in real life. This is really cool. And that's why you should play it, Grandma. That's what I'm picturing every time I'm like explaining the game to like my grandma.
In conclusion, Grandma.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Who would like to go next?
I think I could go next.
Yeah, I think we're gonna save. We'll give Seth some time to mull over what he's gonna do with his.
I've got the hard one this time.
Yeah, I already forgot. Yeah. Oh yeah, Majora's Mask. Yeah. I mean, you know how you need like a driver's license to legally drive a car, and you need like a forklift certificate to be able to drive a forklift.
You should pitch every business idea.
Now imagine you had a license to kill.
Grandma.
Mike, how do you write
and
such
that's all you need to know.
How do you write such good intro lines? I'm sold. Just
done. I don't even know anything about the game.
To make it a little easier, they give you guns, but also explosives.
Have you seen James Bond?
Have you seen Venom? Do you know Venom? Imagine Mario Lopez with a gun, and you're pretty close.
Yeah. And he's also a spy. License to kill.
So good.
Yeah. Pretty good. Okay. Well, Grandma, do you ever think about your own death? do you ever think about that,
Grandma?
Grandma?
Lie awake at night, staring at the ceiling.
Do you ever just imagine like death is a looming gigantic moon over you? Well, the people of Termina do too, Grandma, and it's quite scary. And you have a limited amount of time, 3 days time, to help these people before the moon comes down and kills them all. And they're dealing with it in different ways, Grandma, just like I imagine you are. And you know, they all, some of them are okay with it, some of them have an acceptance about it. Actually is kind of a, you know, there's some people who consider it to be like an allegory for the different stages of grief and your acceptance of life. In fact, the name Terminus, some people think is like the like it's representing like terminal illness or something, but actually it's supposed to represent like a bus terminal, like a subway terminal, because you know the game was developed in Japan, Grandma, and you know the subway culture is very essential to Japanese living. But anyways, Grandma,
we love you.
But anyways, Grandma, it's a game about helping people.
You're using the classic like salesman mentality where you just got to keep saying their name. You
just got to keep going. You just got to keep going. But anyways, Grandma, it's ultimately a game about helping people and how much good can you do in these people's lives as they're facing the end of it. And it is sort of like being a hospice worker on a 3-day cycle for multiple people. But don't worry, Grandma, it's okay. You don't got to stress too much because you can just revert and start the cycle over again if you need to. So it's okay. And you're also trying to help like this kid at the same time. So yeah, I don't know. It's a weird game, Grandma. You might not like it. A lot of people don't. So
this takes place in a hospital is what I'm getting out of this.
Yeah, it kind of does. It kind of does.
The hospital of life. Man.
Yeah.
I have more questions than answers, but that opening line of "Do you ever think about death, Grandma?" is so good.
It's so good.
That's gonna go in our highlight reel for this show.
I almost wonder now if I understand Majora's Mask less than I thought I did before your explanation. Like,
I should also say
so many levels I just never thought about.
Yeah, that's another thing that I should say, because like Majora's Mask is my favorite game of all time. And like I view Majora's Mask differently, I feel like, than a lot of people. Like to me, Majora's Mask is about helping people. Like it is about like the difference you make in people's lives and what you spend your cycle doing. So that's how I needed to pitch it to Grandma, I feel like.
Well, this is not a game you would pitch to Grandma, right? Like this is not the first game that you introduced to someone who's never played a game before. Majora's Mask.
My grandma liked Miss Pac-Man. Like my grandma played Miss Pac-Man.
Yeah, my grandma would play like Wii Sports. Tetris, I think I could get away with.
Yeah,
like, yeah. Tetris. Yep. You got to ease them in. You got to Stardew Valley them, and then suddenly they're playing 400 plus hours of Minecraft. Talking about you, wife.
My wife's addicted to Minecraft too. Can relate.
It's fun. Seth, this has been an absolute blast. I don't think there's any winners here. I think we're all winners. This was just a fun exercise, and I really
Grandma's the real
I-
winner.
I, well, Grandma. I think Grandma might be the only loser in this situation. Now she's thinking a lot about death.
But Seth, as we wrap up the show here, that's gonna do it for this episode of Nintendo Pals podcast. Seth, where can people find you? Give us a pitch for who you are, what you do, and tell us where we can find you.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. Super fun. Always love hanging out with you guys.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, I really appreciate it. I do a lot of stuff. I'll try to be brief. All in a Nintendo podcast. It's a weekly Nintendo variety podcast that I do with my good friend and co-host Eric. You can find that on all of your podcast feeds. Look up All N. That's the letter N, ALL letter N, a Nintendo podcast, and you can find it. If you look up All N Media on YouTube, that's how you'll find us. If you love Nintendo indie games in particular, I spotlight a lot of indie games on that channel. I also produce like video essays from time to time over there. So there's a variety of content on the YouTube channel. I stream on there from time to time as well. I'm also part of Carpool Gaming, where you can find edited video content like shorts and reviews that I do on Carpool Gaming's YouTube channel, as well as being one of the co-hosts of the Nintendo Drive podcast for Carpool Gaming. I also sporadically do a show called Keep Nintendo Weird, which is a weird Nintendo podcast about loving weird Nintendo games. And I also do Patreon exclusive content for both Carpool Gaming and All In. And I think that's it.
And you may be wondering, how does one man do it all? And we're all wondering that. I don't.
It's what I do.
He's
it's what I do. It's my full-time gig.
What he does, Grandma.
It's what I do, Grandma.
It's what I do, Grandma. Well, Seth, we really appreciate you agreeing to come on. I mean, it's always amazing to see people agree to come back, after having this experience to subject themselves to it again. But we appreciate it nonetheless. Everybody should go. Links will be for all of Seth's very filled resume will be in the description of the episode, so you can find links to all of that stuff there. Easy. Thanks again for coming on. Micah, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Well, you can find me on speedrun.com. If you search Metroid Dread and go under minimum items and then no major glitches and Dread mode difficulty.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy.
Let's go.
He's
nice.
Out of the 4 people that have submitted.
Still.
And then you can find me gallivanting about on Andros1 on YouTube, Twitch, TikTok, and more. And as always, you can follow the show. Micah and I, we are the Nintendo Pals podcast on most all platforms. With that, we will close out here. I usually close with the Patreon Poke Rap, but I do not have that queued up properly. So instead, I'm just going to read off these names and say a huge thank you to each and every one of our fantastic Patreon supporters. If you want to be a part of the Patreon Poke Rap, you can join up for as little as $1 a month and be awesome and cool like Nick Lanoy, Fedorable Will, Monkey Thunder, Purple Riolu, Lava Plays, John Cummins, Lil Miss 7, Tim A, a.k.a. Neoprime 33, a.k.a. Nindad number 4, Seth Sturgill, this guy right here, he's here, it's him, LPD, Brian Reese, a.k.a. Rizzle, and Shannon, a.k.a. Spider Shan, Solo, a.k.a. Solo something, and Mute Dog the Gamer. We appreciate y'all so much for the fantastic support you give us over there, and thank you very, 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 very much. And with that, we are going to call it an episode. Thanks again to everybody for watching and listening. Bye-bye!